Something special was cooking on Saturday at the Mala'ai Garden of Waimea Middle School. The Polynesian Voyaging Society presented the Aipono Workshop, sponsored by the Hawaii Island School Garden Network. It introduced the various school garden teachers and volunteers in attendance to Malama Honua, the worldwide voyage of the Hokulea and the Hiki'analia, as an example of feeding the whole self, the physical, emotional, and spiritual self.
We've been thinking about bringing the Makali'i navigators, family, and also professionals that have been working on the diet for the crew pretty much since 1995.
Nancy Redfeather is a teacher and organic gardener and the program director of the Hawaii Island School Garden Network.
Bringing them together with the cohort of the school garden teachers this year and last year, all together to talk about how we can engage our students in the new Malama Honua voyage of Hokulea and Hiki'analia as they travel around the world. It take them about 4 years, I think, in about 72 ports. And so it's a real educational opportunity for us to not only follow the voyage and connect with the peoples and the places and the foods of all of those countries that they're going to be visiting, but also to be experimenting with what are the foods of this place? How can we help our Va'a crew to eat sustainably when they're on board, because this is the message that they're taking of sustainability. How can we become more sustainable food, water, energy, waste in our countries?
Such educational programs help fulfill the voyage's mission. In this workshop, the focus was on the voyaging foods that have been used and eaten throughout the years of wayfinding. Ka'iolani Odom shared her knowledge of the history of the foods that have been used on the voyages.
And then the two lunch dishes we chose to do, the one that Kealoha's going to do has only packaged products, but it's still vegetarian. It's vegetarian based. You could add fish or chicken. And then this one that I'm doing is we've been looking a lot into squashes and pumpkins because those will last for a long time. And so this is a pumpkin soup, and it's just a roux of flour and coconut oil. It's roux are just a straight half and half mixture. And I like coconut oil. It's the oil that I choose to use all the time. I think it's a healthier oil. And then once you make the roux, you just add in a veggie broth. It could be canned. We're super lucky because Nancy actually handmade this veggie broth for us. Ooh. And then the pumpkin is, you just can steam it or bake or cook it, whatever. And then when you scrape it out, I'm adding that in. Then there'll be some coconut milk and a little curry powder. And then what Nancy did, and that's your base recipe. With that, you can add anything you want. If you're close to port and have some greens, you can add some greens in. We're experimenting with the dehydrated ulu and dehydrated greens. Those can go in.
So again, making chicken heka or tofu heka. You guys saw all the ingredients, everything out of a can, dehydrated fungus and mushrooms and stuff like that. Very simple meal on board. For me, it's, you know, it's a comfort food, like I said, because my grandfather used to, this was his signature dish, yeah? Of course, I'll never get it to taste like his, but I think just the practice of it is important, yeah? No other season. I don't use a whole lot of seasoning when I cook. So this one time I'm using kikuman shoyu. And then I'll just add all of the vegetables that we have. I have bamboo shoots and mushrooms here, straw mushrooms. We got baby corn and button mushrooms. And then we got shiitake mushrooms and a bunch of different fungus there that we have. So like if I was making it at home, I would add like watercress and stuff like that. I know we're gonna add some long rice, but you know, you can, that's the beauty of meals like this, you can add whatever you want, yeah? There's no set.
Also present, navigator Chad Paishon and voyager Pomai Bertelman.
This is all we have to cook with, is a 2-burner propane stove on board. And you know, you're in the elements, whether it be windy and raining, and it's in a box, you kind of huddled over it. But again, the meals is a real awesome time during the day because, you know, I'm one of the cooks on board, and you know, of course, Pomai, but it's not only my kuleana to cook, but it's everybody's kuleana to help prep, yeah? So everybody's peeling garlic.
So this one is just a little stringier than usual, but it's just the pumpkin that we use. Sometimes it comes out really smooth, sometimes it's stringy, but that's just fiber that you have in there.
To be a good example of what the Malama Honua voyage is all about, we wanted to help in some way to engage our school garden children and teachers to start experimenting with the foods of this land and then creating recipes that could actually be used on board these vessels as we learn more about diet, fiber, nutrition, calories, how do we dry foods, ferment foods, how do we make tasty foods that are light, nutritious, easy to carry on board. And so the students can use that as a jumping off point for science, for experimentation, and for nutrition and health for sure. And hopefully when the Makali'i leaves in March of 2015 to travel south to connect with Hokulea and Hikianalia in Tahiti and all come back, a lot of the foods on that voyage, 30 days down, 30 days back, will be coming from School Garden.
Like you were saying, a lot of the guys, the last meal before they go is like a loco moco and, gravy all over, extra mac salad, whatever, Burger King. And, that's a true fact because I've done that too. But, when we hit the next port, so we like ice cream, we like cold beers, we like, and then we end up eating ourselves sick because the body is so clean that we eat ourselves sick. And of course, we got to be good guests. And then, of course, the villages that we visit, they host us and treat us, it's unbelievable.
After the demonstration, a taste test of the various herbs that can be used to spice up a meal at sea.
I took the leaves, wash them, and then I kind of rolled them in big bundles and just cut them in like ribbons. And I put, I used a big roaster pan. So I don't have an exact recipe, I'll do that next. And I just cut the leaf and I put in probably 7 onions. And then I packed it with leaf and I put in probably 2 tablespoons of pa'akai that I just got.
And Kelly was the other thing people seem to be interested in, and it's the edible hibiscus, and it's a super easy plant to grow, very nutritious, high in vitamin A, comparable to our luau leaves. And the fruit was awesome. And the luau. What else did you guys like?
Ginger. Was ono.
So the pickled.
The ho'io was
The ho'io.
Cucumber.
Yeah,
dried
it's really
squid
just,
luau. Dried luau. Oh, bro. That was
The what?
bomb. The dried luau with the coconut.
Yeah, that is my favorite.
It has so much flavor. Oh, amazing.
So in ginger being something in Olena that can help with seasickness, there was a pickled ginger, there was a candied ginger, and there was a pickled, which wasn't pickled like the rest. The rest were kind of cooked vinegar and pickling spice and salt. This other, that thin strip of ginger, that was just I used a palm sugar and an organic vinegar, and that was it. And they were pickled in that. Yeah. So all really easy to make.
But to be the condiment to, I don't know, some seared fish or something like that. I don't know.
Really? Oh no.
Yeah. No, I think it's good.
Then a blessing.
Where on the Va'a, the meals are the most sacred times of the day. Everybody comes together, we all talk story, whatever pilikia you had before we open the bowl, all of that kind of stuff is all cleared out. What the sale plan gonna be for the evening. So that's the kind of conversations that we have on the. It becomes religious. It becomes very sacred that time, and then we've had
Morale booster.
Yeah, morale booster, and then
That's one time you actually have
everybody on board, up on deck.
Well, I think food is like the most important part of the day on board. Everybody's looking forward to the times that they can eat together, which I think is twice with snacks. And so the logistics of cooking on board, preparing food on board are huge. But another thing that I just thought of is really the students could be experimenting with creating some solar cookers, some small solar cookers that would actually use the sun as the energy to cook some of this food, and figure out ways that they can affix it to the canoe so it will be stable and easy to use. So that's another whole technology actually that we can be working with this year.